Today we're making risotto, but not Milanese, not the classic one. We're making a risotto with parsley, garlic flour, and of course we're gonna use Parmigiano Reggiano to make it. We are going to begin with the rice for the risotto. So risotto is defined by two different moments throughout the process of cooking the rice. The beginning and the end. At the beginning is toasting the grains of rice. So we add a little tiny bit of extra virgin olive oil. Then we are going to put the salt straight away. This way it's gonna keep seasoning inside the grain throughout the cooking process. And now we're gonna start pouring the grains of rice. Just like that. And the toasting process will allow the grain to preserve their own shape throughout the entire cooking process. Very important to reach around 50 degrees. That's when the starch starts to get thicker and hard. In this case, I didn't want to use white wine, but if you want to give an extra acidity to the preparation, you can then put white wine whenever the grains start to be translucent and hard. In this moment right here. The very most important thing about risotto is that you have to cook it with a very hot liquid, otherwise it will stop the cooking process. We have our veg stock here boiling, and then once we start pouring our liquid, we're gonna begin to make the parsley puree at the same time as the rice cooks. We turn the heat down a little bit, and we're ready to start pouring our veg stock. Cover nicely all the grains. Meanwhile, the risotto is cooking. We're gonna start making this parsley puree. We're gonna start with parsley leaves, blanching it in hot boiling water. And we're also gonna blanch our garlic. This way, the flavor that we'll bring is gonna be a little bit smoother. Make sure you are going to blanch them properly, otherwise it will take you very long time to blix and the result won't be a smooth puree. Always keep an eye on your risotto. And if you see the liquid low, be there with boiling stock and keep adding it. Here we're ready. And now I'm gonna put it into iced water. We can see here throughout the cooking, the grains are getting bigger. They're absorbing the liquid as well. And now it's time to add a little bit more stock. Okay, so we're here with our blanched parsley leaves into cold water, nice and green. And the garlic, which is a little bit smoother and softer. We get rid of the extra water. And then we are going to blix it, sorry, and make a paste. If you need to, you can add a little bit of water and a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. Now we're just gonna pass it to make it a little bit smoother. We're back at our risotto. We can see how the starch is coming out. It's not cream, it's not butter, this is only the starch of the rice. And that's what is going to create our nice emulsion at the end. Emulsion in between the fat from the butter, of course, and also the Parmigiano Reggiano, and the liquid, which is going to be our stock. Still 1 more minute. So we're adding just the last bit of stock. And as soon as we're almost al dente, we're gonna start la mantecatura in Italian. So creating this emulsion in between fat, liquid, and then we're gonna add our parsley and garlic puree. We're gonna add our butter, our Parmigiano Reggiano grated. Looks a lot, but it's grated finely. And now we're doing something that maybe you're not used to. We're gonna let the rice rest, covered. In this minute or so, what happens is the starch is getting a little bit colder and it will start thickening it up, and also is going to melt the butter and the cheese, so they will become more alike in terms of temperature. That's what is going to help us to make a nice emulsion and properly done. So the creaminess of the risotto is gonna become just perfect. We're gonna wait a second to put the parsley and garlic puree, otherwise it will start to cook and it won't maintain the nice green color. Okay, we see that the butter is melted and also the Parmigiano Reggiano. And now we can start making a nice emulsion. I begin always with my spoon and then by mixing it like this. With this movement, we are creating the emulsion and the nice creamy risotto. Now we're gonna add a little bit of parsley puree. My suggestion is when you make parsley puree, you do a big bunch, it's easier. And now here we are ready to plate. Always in Italy, keep a towel underneath your risotto plate. Now you'll see why. Start in the middle. And then you open it up. Nice. To finish, couple of garlic flower. They give taste and also they create a nice contrast in the plate. Today you discover all the secrets about how to make a perfect risotto. This is a version with parsley and garlic, but you can make your own any time. So enjoy.
Hello everyone. Greetings from Italy, a land of beautiful cars, art, cinema, but also a land of fantastic food and amazing wines. My name is Julia Krychkova. I am a professional sommelier and the ambassador of ALMA, the International School of Italian Cuisine. And today I'm going to take you on a journey of discovering some excellent Italian wines to pair with the recipes that our chef has just shared with you. Let's talk about risotto with parsley and Parmigiano. What Italian wine would you pair with a risotto? That's a good question. I would choose a good sparkling wine or a still white wine. Why? Well, their nice acidity would play with the Swedish notes that rice, or even pasta for that matter, leaves on our palate and brings the whole experience to a perfect balance. In the case of sparkling wine, the bubbles would also help us to cleanse our palate and prepare us for the next bite. Today I brought you a bottle of Franciacorta. This is a wine loved by many Italians, and not only them. Franciacorta is a wine made with traditional methods. It's a sparkling wine, and traditional method is actually a method that is used for making champagne in France. The grape varieties are also very similar. Pinot Nero or Pinot Noir, as you might know it, Chardonnay, but we also use Pinot Bianco here, and another grape variety, just a little bit of it, which is called Erba Mate. This is an indigenous grape variety of Lombardy. So Franciacorta is a sparkling wine made with traditional method. And in Franciacorta, in that area, sparkling wines were produced even in 16th century, but they were mostly for local consumption. Everything has changed in late 50s, when some producers started to produce sparkling wine using Pinot Bianco, making them with the traditional method, and those wines became a huge success straight away. Why? Well, the first reason is because Franciacorta is very refreshing, and then it has very characteristic notes of bread crust, yeast, that make it so fresh, complemented by beautiful notes of lemon and pear, tangerine, and some nutty undertones like almond and hazelnut. Well, as we already understood, Franciacorta is easy to pair pretty much with everything, and also with our risotto. But if you prefer, instead of sparkling wine, a still white wine, I would choose something with herbal undertones. Well, if we want a wine like this, I could very well suggest you a Brie Blanc. It is a very rare grape variety coming from the mountains of Val d'Aosta. I have a sparkling version here, but you can very well choose a still version of Brie Blanc. The vineyards of Brie Blanc are situated very high, right about 900 to 1,000 meters above sea level, which makes them one of the highest vineyards in Europe. And Brie Blanc has a very nice, refreshing acidity, and also those herbal undertones that I was talking about. And when you taste Brie Blanc, when you taste this wine, it takes you straight away to its place of origin. So you feel the notes of herbs, mountain flowers just cut. You feel the notes of hay and very delicate fruity notes. And those herbal undertones will play very well with the parsley taste in your risotto, which makes our pairing very exciting and playful. However, what if you want to pair your risotto with a red wine? In this case, I would suggest you a Freisa, a local grape variety from Piedmont. Piedmont is the land where the first king of Italy was born, here in Turin. And it is also the land where vermouth was born and the tradition of aperitivo was created. Well, it is also the land of fantastic food, white truffles, nice chocolate, and also a land of very good red wines, such as famous Barolo and Barbaresco. Freisa, though, is very different from them. It is light, fragrant, with fresh acidity. And it is going to be a perfect pairing for this risotto. Sometimes Freisa could be lightly sparkling, so the fresh acidity of this wine will help us to cleanse the palate from the creaminess of our risotto and prepare our palate for the next bite. And the fruity notes that you find in this wine will help you to counterpart the bitterish taste of parsley. Nice and easy.